Good morning. You're watching Morning at NTV. Time for us to take note. And this Friday, I want you to come close, 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 close. Spike the volume up because it's very important that you and I hear what is to be said this morning. Rotary is uniting over 1 million plus people all over the continents, all over the world, and they want to create lasting change. And the story of Rotary Uganda, now that is commendable. The strides they're making to do things not just for them as Rotary, actually for Ugandans. And if we start to recognize the collective efforts they're making and say, maybe I should help, because this is for me. So you're not actually helping, you're planting a seed for you and for the future generation. Joining me this time to talk about the Rotary Cancer Run, I know something you have crammed in your minds. It happens every single year and you need to take part, is Rotarian, I need to say that, Rotarian Henry Rugamba. You are the chairperson of the Rotary Cancer Run. This is the 7th year. Absolutely,
I'm chairperson. By the way, I didn't want you to stop. You spoke so well.
Oh,
you talked so well about Rotary and what we've done.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I am not a Rotarian yet. But I've been asked, and I'm always telling them I'm thinking I need to come to Rotary and join Rotary when it comes from me. You know, it needs to be my initiative.
Absolutely.
I need to know why I'm actually doing it. And I think it's because I've been part of every initiative that Rotary does. I try and, you know, do what I can, put my voice to it. If it's money, if I can, I do it. And because I understand the idea of giving back. Some of the biggest and wealthiest people in the world tell you it's from giving back that you
get back.
That you get.
And you get tenfold.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's that simple. If we could all just do it.
Absolutely.
But for people who probably are not familiar with Rotary and the power that Rotary is, let's just brief them.
Okay. You know, I think it's best described by what somebody said. He came home after 30 odd years working abroad. And all his friends had moved on.
Okay.
Their lives had changed, their families had changed. And he realized by getting into Rotary, he would make a new network of friends.
Okay.
So that's one reason people do it, to get a new circle of friends, a total circle of friends. And in those friends, you meet people of similar ideas, people who want to live in a better society.
Yes.
Because if you want to enjoy your life, you just need to make sure that those around you are enjoying their life. And so the things that we do in Rotary kind of attract people to say, I want to be part of this. I want to work on a project that will give water to a community, that will give shelter, that will put a roof above kids in a school, that will have proper sanitation facilities, that will look after mothers and new mothers. Vaccination, things like that. So there's so many programs that end up attracting many people to say, if I join this group of people, I would be doing good in this society. And I'll be meeting my own actualization, you know, in terms of satisfaction of what I'm doing. So that's why people come to Rotary. So you meet a whole cross-section of people that you would not have met, you may have not met at school, you may have not met at work, you may have not lived in the same neighborhood, but you're gathered together in one cause.
So my colleague Josephine Karunji, you met her? Brilliant. She asked a question. I just said, what do you think about Rotary on Twitter? Lots of comments. I wouldn't go through all of them, but an organization for old rich men and young unemployed but passionate people, said Dennis Wonyala. And someone says, something I would like to join when I have a stable income and a stable place of residence. This can't be the only myths about Rotary.
That's unfortunate. I think that so many times when we want to do something, we put mental roadblocks into things. It's not for me.
Right.
And I think that the people who have commented or responding to Josephine's comments, question, should come to see Rotary. Come for a fellowship. Come and see the person who you're sitting next to.
Right.
And you realize they're no different from you. And the resources they have put in are same resources that you have, but you may have allocated it elsewhere. And now you get to the realization that actually, I don't need that much. I need a little, and that little will make a difference.
Okay.
And I'll see that difference.
Definitely. So today we are talking about the Rotary Cancer Run. Have you just joined Rotary?
No.
Oh, right. So the Rotary Cancer Run, I have been part of 3.
Wow.
I'll be honest, I'll tell the truth, I have not run. But I have my kit, and I pay, and I endeavor to pay for more than just Flavia. I endeavor to pay for more than me.
Wow.
Because I'm more concerned about the impact than I am concerned about my legs wobbling as we run. But cancer is something that until about maybe 3-4 years ago, I didn't really understand. I mean, I knew what it was, but I didn't think it was this close, if I can say that. Henry, I thought cancer was far, far, far away. 1. 2, not for my age. You've got to be 75 plus to be affected by cancer. And then for some reason there was a wave where now all you're going to say, what? 30 years old, 20 years old, you can be affected by cancer. I went and got a pap smear very quickly because you just never know. But what's your story? What do you know? How has cancer come closer to you as a reality?
My mother died of cancer.
Oh, no.
So if you want to know how close that is, it really gets very close.
Yeah.
So, but if you talk generally for everybody, they've come to the realization, and I'm going to tell a story. He hasn't given me permission, but I'm going to do it. The person who started this cancer run is called Stephen Mwanje. Stephen came up with the idea that we need to build a cancer center, a place where people can get treated, a place where we can have early detection, have this quality of treatment that you can get anywhere in the world here in Uganda. That was in Stephen's mind, what, 7 years ago. When the ward was completed, one of the first patients was somebody very close to Stephen.
Really?
He had met this lady for the first time. They shared a church on their wedding day, 25 years before. So they became friends, having got married in the same church, same time, on the same day. And 25 years later, Stephen has completed this ward, and this lady is one of the first patients.
Wow.
So for him, it was reality as to, even if it appeared to have been an impossible dream, it was something right.
Yes.
And the way this whole thing came together, because when the team started, they had nothing. They had an idea, they had a passion to do something. Let's build this cancer ward. You know, young men thinking really big. But they started asking questions.
Yes.
They started tapping into people who felt the same. One of the not sang enough heroes is Dr. Martin Subuga. He was the head of Nsambia Hospital. And Dr. Martin put this to Nsambia Hospital, and Nsambia Hospital gave us the land.
Free?
Free.
Good.
So, right person, you're asking why in Rotary? Dr. Martin is a Rotarian. Next to the table was Centenary Bank and Pepsi Cola. They gave the much needed seed money.
Okay.
In 3 years, that ward was completed. So the patients moved from a dilapidated, I don't know, 1920 kind of building with all kinds of cracks and dangers into a clean, modern building. And that building stands there today. So if you go to Nsambia Hospital and you see the building, you've done 3 runs, you feel part of it. That is part of what you did, you know, the little gesture that you did. So the run started 6 years ago, and this year is the 7th run. We have moved from the construction of the ward.
Yes.
We're now constructing, we break ground this October for the bunkers. We're going to build 2 bunkers that will hold 2 machines that we need to bring together. In total, we're looking for about $3.5 million. Sounds a big number?
Yeah, and I also want to break it down for Ugandans, because I always like to say when you know better, you do better, right? So we need to break it down, because last year was a big milestone for the cancer run. And even then, I don't think people understood what happened, what was done, what we got. But if we could just start there, and also what it means for us to have, what the bunker is, and what we need to do, and what it will do, what it can save us from doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things right across the road here is the Parliament of Uganda.
Yes.
Many people spend a lot of time castigating the size of our parliament. As Rotarians, we saw the size as an opportunity, and we approached the Speaker and the members of Parliament, and each member of Parliament gave us 1 million shillings.
Is it?
So we raised 449 million shillings from Parliament It was the biggest fundraising we had,
Wow.
single donation that we had
Yes.
had from a single unit. So the names of the 10th Parliament will be celebrated as a ward,
Good.
as their names will be on the Wall of Honor.
So this was towards the...
Towards the start of the construction of the
Yes.
bunker. We raised about 1.1 billion shillings.
Billion.
We have about 700 million, which is going to help us break ground. What we raise this year will go towards that. Now, just for the viewer's sake, when we talk about the bunkers, what we're saying is the equipment that we need to install is operated with a lot of radiation, as you can imagine, for cancer treatment. And so the bunkers have to be installed for purposes of protecting the patients from the radiation, and it's normally cleared by the International Atomic Agency. So this work is being done on a turnkey solution with a contractor. They begin in October. Hopefully within 18 months to 24 months we shall have completed the bunker. And when we complete the bunker, then we can now hopefully start getting the equipment installed.
Okay, so $3.5 million is for 2 bunkers.
2 bunkers and equipment. Yeah.
2 bunkers and equipment.
Yeah.
This is at Nsambia.
At Nsambia.
Nsambia Hospital. So far we have enough money to start groundbreaking on one.
To start the whole construction thing.
Everything.
Yeah, and what the money we raise this year will also go towards that.
To do the next phase or whatever. Okay, so the bunker is for us to get treatment here.
Yes.
In Uganda, and most people are always saying like, let's fundraise for this one, let's fundraise for that one, and even facilities, you just need to be able to, if we can get it here, of course it's more affordable than it is to fly somewhere else and get treated.
Absolutely. And Flavia, you know, I told you a story of a lady who told us a frightening situation now. She's a cancer survivor, 16-year cancer survivor. Her first year, she said the first year of treatment is an aggressive year. And then you have 2 to 5 years, if you're lucky to survive, to go into remission, which she did, and she's been cancer-free for 16 years. But she said, if you think about it, if the first year is aggression, that means you're not going to get cured. Yet people are raising money, going to India, going to America, going to Europe, trying to get cured. But she went through a 6-year cure-med process. We can't afford to send one person every year for 6 years to India. We can't. No one can afford that. There can be no hope. And that's why I think we've lost many people. So there is also a critical lack of information. But the wonderful story about this lady, she was treated here.
In Uganda.
In Uganda. And she survived in Uganda. So it begs the question, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
And what we're doing as the Rotary Cancer Run is making this possible. That we can have this treatment in Uganda, we can save lives here in Uganda, we can early detect here in Uganda, and we can demystify this whole thing about cancer. And so you don't have to worry that you are not born in a family of connections that can raise the resources.
By the way, don't get fooled. Even the person who can tap into their saving and wealth will be drained. They
will be drained. Everybody's been drained. They've sold a lot of property, all in the pursuit of life. And what we're doing by running on Sunday, the 26th of August, is to bring that gift of life opportunity to Uganda. And that's why we need everybody.
Speaking of everybody, 7 years, you're going into 7 years now. It must have changed from when Mwanje was starting this idea, from how many people are running, to how many towns you're going to be running in, to what kind of impact. Just paint a picture of how that change has come along.
You know, it is. Actually, we have a picture. I didn't think about bringing it.
Yeah.
I have a picture of the first run. It was like a ragtag run. Everybody wore what they wanted. You know, so you had the rainbow colors all over the place.
You know?
Today we are running, wearing quality run vests, nicely branded, celebrating our sponsors. But what's more is we're going to run in 37 towns in this country.
Same day?
Same day, same time.
Okay.
Kisoro launched yesterday.
Oh, far and wide.
Kasese is launching tomorrow. Mbale launched last weekend. So across this country, this is the biggest run in East Africa, by far the biggest run. because 37 towns, 30,000 people, we bought in 30,000 vests. And these are dwindling very fast. I think by run day, we're gonna have people
some extra rainbows.
some extra rainbows are gonna have to run because more people are coming on.
Yes.
And that's good, because coming from that small run that Stephen and the team had in the first year to the run that we have today, that's coordinated by so many organizations.
Yeah.
Another unsung hero that's made all this possible is the Uganda People's Defense Forces.
Yes.
They give us access to Kololo ceremonial grounds for very little. It is absolute gift from them that we're able to have this run there. So the support we get from the UPDF, the support we get from the police in managing the route. The whole route is being wrecked this weekend by the police and our team. So we get a lot of support, and all that is free of cost.
Yeah.
So we've got to celebrate these forces that have come to the table. So now if the armies come, the police has come, they're making things happen. Flavia, you need to run the fourth time.
So say I'm going to run this year, actually run 10 kilometers, 3, 1?
There's 5, 10, and 21.
Okay. So I shouldn't really start with 21.
No, 10 is the best.
Yeah.
10 is the best. It gives you good exercise. You run a mile or so, walk another mile, run another mile, walk another. You know, it is a Sunday. There is no clock to it. Relax. But when you get back, we've got an active aerobatic, aerobics. Aerobics
get in
performance,
shape,
get in shape.
Do a bit of stretching. Let me ask you. We like to complain a lot more than we do in this country, and the word CSR is thrown around. Corporate social responsibility. We stand for this. We stand for that. I actually had Centenary Bank the other day, and they spoke highly about how they stand for Rotary and their work. And you just mentioned them, which means that partnership is strong. But talk to me about ask of Ugandans to give in any way.
Okay.
How's that experience?
I'm now going down a slippery slope because I'm still asking for support.
Yes.
And fortunately, sometimes corporates have been a bit difficult in terms of the demands of exclusivity.
Okay.
So when we approach people and they say, oh yes, we can support you, we need to be exclusive, because they want to build their brand around what you've done.
Of course.
And that can't be too fair, because cancer is not exclusive.
No.
The employees of this organization will one day walk into this ward, and we won't say, oh, you wanted exclusivity, you can't come in here. We can't do that. And so we would like organizations to put aside that competitiveness and say, this we're doing for the country. We have one place in Makerere, in Mulago, that treats cancer. We have 40 million people. It is impossible to believe that that place will address the medical needs of 40 million people.
Even if it was 20% of the population.
We need more centers. You need to come and see how we use the resources. When Centenary Bank says that they like working with us, it's because they see every penny.
Yes.
There's a wonderful ad on CNN, Just a Penny, by Richard Quest. Yes. Just a penny. We keep just a penny. We keep every single penny of theirs that they give us, and that's why they keep on giving. But I must also compliment the other banks. Yes. Because the banks, I think, are the only organization that have put aside that competitive thing and said, okay, Centenary is your lead sponsor.
I wonder why.
But Stanbic Bank has a tent at the Cancer Run, and they've always had a tent. So it's good to see the banks who put aside that competitiveness and say, we have a common problem, we're not going to bring our differences to the table and compete at this level. This is a level of national concern. So I'd like to encourage other organizations. Media houses are notorious for exclusivity.
Okay, yes.
I'm going to get thrown out of here in a minute.
Out.
So how much time? But that's the challenge of CSR. And I know that I'm not speaking only about the Cancer Run, but everybody else involved in the fundraising finds themselves getting into a position of compromise because of a brand. And at the Rotary Cancer Run, we've decided, yes, we need the money. But like the Dalai Lama said, we'll open our arms, but we won't give up our values. We'll stick to those.
Okay. So 2 things before we wind up. One, you spoke about just a penny, and because people have come and seen, I want to know about accountability. We're very sketchy when it comes to money as Ugandans. Sometimes there's fundraising done or money allocated for things, and then before you know it, we don't know. So obviously, if people have trusted Rotary for all this time, there must be, some sort of structure to the madness. And then 2, you spoke about banks, you've spoken about organizations coming to you. Who's welcome to support this initiative, and how can they support this initiative? Because it can't just be, how much is the Cancer Run ticket?
25,000.
It can't just be 25,000 and that's it. And of course you have a number of people who are not in Rotary, who you're obviously calling on for the run, because anybody and anyone can. Then what happens after that? What can my next 25,000 and next 25,000 do? So we'll start with the first.
Okay, with the first. We totally recognize the need to do this, to have a clear accountability.
Yes.
And when we started the whole process, it was all about, let's get this run, let's do this thing. This thing got bigger, and as it got bigger, we got wiser. And so the Uganda Rotary Cancer Program was established, and there is a board.
Okay.
So I am on the board as chairman. Next year, when I'm not chairman, I'm not on the board. The new chairman is on the board. So you've got a board of people. There's a technical committee that's involved and there's a policy committee. And we're now producing audited accounts. We have developed a strategic plan. We're about to get this up and running. So in the next 10, 15 years, people will look back and say there was direction here. And there was governance structures were in place. So we've put all put all that in place, and it's open now to scrutiny.
Yes.
So which was so important, because we started, as I said, a few runners. The runners became more. Now it became so big that we've spread to so many towns.
Yes.
So our need to go back to every town and say, this is what
you did.
This is what you did.
Fantastic.
Okay, and that's how it came about. The last question, 25,000 shillings. We're building the brand. We need to build a brand. We need to build a brand with many people.
Yes.
And as we're running in every town in this country on the 26th of August this year, every corporate organization, every government institution is going to look and say, this is where I want to be. This is a movement of people.
Yes.
This is a movement of people wanting to do good. I must compliment the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have partnered with us by having a tent at the site where the minister himself, and he did it last year, Honorable Sam Kutesa, hosted all the diplomats of Uganda.
Great.
So people are bringing their friends, they're bringing their networks, and they're saying these are Ugandans doing something for Uganda and not dependent on government.
Fantastic. So we're wrapping, just to put the fine lines there clear. The run is
26th of August.
26th of August.
First run is set off at 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
There's 21 kilometers. Flavia can set off about 15 minutes later.
Yes. But don't worry if you're in Mbarara, if you're in Mbale, and you don't have to come to Kampala.
Absolutely.
So where do they go? A Rotary?
We're going to advertise the start points for all the towns.
Great.
And even if you buy a ticket here, Flavia, and you just happen to be in Mbale on that day, run in Mbale.
Okay, so speaking of tickets as well, they can get them now, already on sale.
They're on sale, Capital Shoppers, some of the supermarkets that are selling.
Great. So pass by, and I'm sure there's like a big placard somewhere saying Rotary Cancer Run. So do make your difference for just 25,000 shillings. It could help you, me, and cancer, as you said, does not discriminate and say this one no, this one yes. So do your part. Thank you so much, Rotarian Henry.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Have a good weekend. Catch you next week.